I ran across the most fascinating video the other day showing everybody what not to do. Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Now, with inflation now at 8.5% and maybe higher, don't you think you need to be smarter with your money? You need it to grow, not debt. Start a gold IRA with Noble Gold right now and you'll be safe. And this month, every cash deal above 20K, you'll get an incredible 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin, completely free as a thank you. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold. And all you have to do is call 877-646-5347 now just to find out a little more. And you can also visit noblegoldinvestments.com. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And it's tough. It's real tough to do it because we have a media and a group of politicians that have made it their mission to make nonsense out of everything that happens, to create it. Yeah, they are the producers of nonsense. In fact, they spread this nonsense to a lot of their voters, and unfortunately, they take advantage of a lot of the people that vote for them as well, like minorities, gays. They pick all these groups, blacks, we got gays, we got transgenders, and they make them appear to be constantly in threat of victimization against, I guess, cops or white people or Christians or whoever. Well, what this ends up doing is breeding a mentality to leap before you look. In other words, you create a whole bunch of victims, people who don't care about facts. All they care about is the perception of some type of injustice. And instead of waiting for facts and details, they jump right out there. This is an atrocity. This right here is racism. We got to do something. Y'all, let's get together. We got to rally, blah, blah, blah. Well, when it turns out to not be what you thought it was, you might just end up with that. Yeah. That's right, jackass. And it shows in this next story, y'all. So let's find out. Because see, if I was just an ignorant, angry black man for nothing, and I saw this clip, I might be ready to go down there and waste my whole day by taking off work, driving all the way down there to where this happened, and protesting for nothing. Let's get into this.
They got her in handcuffs while they shot her, y'all. Why they shot her, y'all. They got her in handcuffs. I've never seen, I'm from Louisiana, I'm from Arkansas, but I stopped here to get some gas, y'all, and to get some ice cream for my kids, y'all. And my son just watched this. My 1-year-old son just watched this. My 10-year-old son just watched this. And my 13-year-old son just watched this happen. The man ran. She was finna cooperate. She got scared. She ran down there. They shot her. 1, 2, 3, 4. My son got it on his phone too. They got her in handcuffs while she shot God. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right. I'm a medical assistant, God. It ain't right.
Now, this lady right there done got all spiritual and deep and everything. Now, here she's talking about she's a medical assistant. It ain't right. It ain't right. James sound like Florida Evans. It ain't right, James. Well, see, it sounds like a lot of emotion. It sounds like a traumatic experience. And it also sounds like an assumption of the details leading up to this lady who has been shot. Now, apparently, this black lady who has been shot by the police 5 times. Apparently, according to the lady that was really ecstatic, says she's a paramedic and all of that stuff, using some of the worst phrases ever. They shot her, y'all. They shot her, y'all. They done did this, ain't right. Yeah, I don't know if I would take my paramedic very seriously who was sounding like that. But nonetheless, she claims that the police just grabbed this girl and she was ready to cooperate and whatever. And as she's sitting there with her hands behind her back, ready to talk, they just decided, you know what? Now that she's calm, now that she's cooperating, let's go ahead and shoot her 5 times. There you go. This lady didn't stop for 1 second to think and say, now, if it is what I say it is, in its most simplistic way to see it, that's what it would look like. It would look like this lady was like, oh, sure. No, you could question me. Oh, you need to handcuff me just to find out the details and all this. Okay, here, that's fine. And out of nowhere, these cops just decided to shoot her 5 times. Now, my gut tells me, since this isn't 1902, down in the back hills of Alabama, most likely there's some details that probably was left out, even though this woman right here appears to be very traumatized by it because, hey, she's right there on the spot. She saw it, and you already know how that goes. So let's get into it and find out, lest we make the mistake that Jesse Jackson did after Michael Brown got himself shot by going down there and saying this here was an assassination, having all of those black people go crazy, tear up their own neighborhoods. And he got back on his nice fancy plane and went home, left the chaos to his own. All right, let's move on and get some more details before we make a statement.
Tonight, a rally highlighting the mistrust between parts of our community and the Kansas City Police Department.
Okay.
This after officers shot and injured a woman.
Our community is hurt. We are hurting. We are traumatized.
Traumatized.
We've had problems with KCPD.
Okay.
And so I don't trust that department.
Is that a Black Lives Matter hat?
Tonight, we are hearing responses from those at the rally. The Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, which announced charges hours ago, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas, and the Missouri State Highway Patrol, who is leading this investigation. The prosecutor's office announced charges against that woman, Leona Hale, earlier this evening.
Okay.
She's charged with unlawful possession of a firearm, exhibiting it in a threatening manner, and resisting arrest. Prosecutors say the charges come after reviewing body camera video. The prosecutor's office sharing this screenshot of the video today, showing Hale with a gun in her hand.
Wait a minute, man. According to the lady we heard just a minute ago, they shot her, y'all. She wasn't even doing nothing. She was cooperating. They just shot her 5 times, y'all. This is an atrocity. And then Black Lives Matter down there talking about we traumatized and mess like that. Did they know that this lady had a gun in her hand? I mean, I think there's some details they might have left out or didn't care to know.
According to court documents, video surveillance showed officers telling Hale to drop the firearm.
Drop
this
the
happened
firearm.
Friday outside the Family Dollar at East 6th and Prospect. Officers at the time were investigating the vehicle Hale was in, saying it matched the description of a stolen vehicle.
Oh my.
A statement from the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office reads in part, our review of the investigation revealed the defendant, although she denied having a weapon at the time of the encounter with law enforcement officers, continually displayed a weapon during her encounter with police officers, and also appeared to be attempting to flee.
Now wait just a minute. Here you are in a car that has been reported stolen. If you didn't steal the car, then you probably would cooperate. But let me understand. You're in a stolen car, you have a gun, and you decide, according to that picture that we just saw, to break camp, to take off. Got the gun pointing back. Now, who's she pointing to? As she's looking back over the shoulder, running in the opposite direction of what the gun is pointing at. So that must mean she's running away from something while pointing backwards. Now, you want to know how to get yourself shot by the cops real quick. There you go. That's what not to do. To have a gun on you while driving or being in a stolen vehicle, and instead of making sure you drop that gun and make sure it is very clear that you don't have a firearm, you decide to display that type of body language. Let's see how Black Lives Matter responds to it after they see the updated information that the body cam cop.
Hale is still recovering from that shooting at this hour. Our reporter Andres Gutierrez talked with 2
5
people
shots.
who rallied for her today in light of these charges.
Okay, here we go.
Protect black women.
Oh, here we go.
Those who know of Leona Hale wish there would have been a peaceful outcome rather than what happened Friday night in this Family Dollar parking lot when KCPD opened fire.
And we don't care if she did or didn't do what they said she did. She did not deserve to be shot down.
As Hale recovers.
Now, there we go. Classic, unfortunately, Black Lives Matter. And often many black people who have fallen victim into excusing whatever behavior a black person is doing that might result in them getting themselves shot. And instead of encouraging black men and women that are in some of these areas, and unfortunately, these are areas where you see a lot of crime happening. There's a certain mentality that's being bred in certain communities, mostly Democrat-ran cities with a lot of black folks that they claim they love. But instead of saying, hey, listen, you know how we could limit the amount of black folks that might become victims of these police shootings? Focus on conflict resolution, okay? Focus on de-escalation. If we don't tell you guys that you're victims and all these cops are white nationalist racists that's just itching to kill you, you might not get out the car and take off running while pointing the gun backwards. Or you might not drive off in the car when the cops are still, trying to handcuff you or fighting with them, or all the stuff we usually see that comes out of these things. But when these things happen and you get out there protesting like this and only find out a bit later that these people did something that might have encouraged that cop or cops to shoot them, instead of saying, oh, my bad, she might have brought that on herself, we don't care. So we're going to excuse the lawlessness and the behavior of black folks on the basis of what? They're black. I mean, we don't have self-control. We don't know the law. We don't know right from wrong, or we're still suffering from slavery and all of that. Or could it be that this current modern Democrat, liberal, and fake news culture has been telling black folks for quite some time that they're constant victims, they're always being threatened by white people, not them though, not them, other white people, and their lives are at risk. Therefore, you have the right to get out, fight, run, aim a gun, do whatever you can to get shot. And I got a good feeling they might like stuff like that. You know why? Because soon as stuff like that happens, they benefit off of it. Tell you you're the victim, tell you that these folks want to kill you. This causes folks that can't see your motive of being an instigator and a manipulator. And when you respond and get shot, who really benefits, huh? Well, we already know. Soon as these things happen, a whole bunch of Democrats flock straight to the microphone. A whole bunch of fake news outlets using stuff, racism, systemic racism. We need to abolish the police. These are incidents that give the Democrat Party, who eventually want to get rid of the police by demonizing them, causing distrust in the community, it gives them what they want. So go ahead, black person, get yourself shot doing something stupid, and then have Black Lives Matter come out and defend that stupidity, all so you can advance a Marxist movement. Thus, Nancy Pelosi. Thank you, George Kirby, for your sacrifice. Let's see if we can wrap this right here, because this is deep. I want to see some more of these Black Lives Matter people make fools of themselves.
Hill recovers from her wounds. Supporters came together well aware of the charges the 26-year-old woman faces for allegedly having a firearm, and according to law enforcement, pointing that weapon at them.
No matter what we are told did happen, Ms. Hale was a human being. And could have been any one of our mothers, sisters, cousins, aunties, for whatever reason. We would want them to be brought in safely.
I would also want my cousin, auntie, sister, or whoever not to be in a stolen car and jump out with a gun in your hand, pointing it while you're running off or whatever you're doing. See, normally cops aren't going to shoot you if you just jump out the car. But what that picture showed, gun pointed backwards. Now, that woman just put everybody in danger, not just herself. Shoot, what if the cops miss? What if she starts firing at the cops and miss? There's a lot that could go wrong. So now here she is talking about we all would want our auntie. What this is a biased response. Of course, you're going to be biased if the person is black or a relative or whatever. But these are those moments where you got to step back out of your emotions and see the facts and say, wait, what did this person do to contribute to their demise? Whether they are your friend, black person, and did the police use a reasonable response? If it's possible, let me empathize with the same statement. What if my father was a police officer? What if my mother was a police officer? Would I want them to hesitate as a person's running away, pointing a gun backwards at them and say, well, wait, I got to think about what if this was somebody else's mom or auntie or sister? They would want them to be brought in safely. Well, guess what? Somebody's child, husband, wife would want their husband, wife, or child to come home safely. So you're both in bad compromised situations, but you can't place the blame on the cops when it's not applicable. If they do something wrong, cool. If they didn't, you got to eat that. Every single time a black person is killed or arrested, it doesn't mean that it's reason to tear up the city, protest, and cry racism. That woman, according to the picture, as far as I could see, might have brought this on herself. So let's see how she's going to try to wiggle off this and blame somebody else except for the black lady.
And not be shot 5 times.
Not be shot.
We would not want that.
Activist Justice Gatson organized this evening's gathering and questions this single image of Hale holding a gun released by the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office, who says it came from one of the officer's body cameras.
It's the first time we've seen that photograph, and I can't speak to legitimacy of it. We've had problems with KCPD, and so I don't trust that department.
Perfect example of being mad for nothing. Perfect example of saying, I'm not going to tap out. I've committed to this narrative. This is no different than a lot of liberals and Biden supporters and Democrat voters who, no matter what we as conservatives show them, whatever evidence we show them, they will still say, so, I mean, I ain't gonna believe how you know that. And I'm saying, man, you just saw the evidence. You just saw it with your own eyes. But you're so committed into supporting these narratives. You've invested in it. You've built your whole Facebook and social media personality around being an activist and an angry for nothing citizen and voter that now you cannot find fault in the group of people that you're building this activism around. Whether it be Democrats, whether it be gay, whether it be, lesbians, whether it be transgenders, whether it be black folks, whether it be women, all of this stuff, if it comes out that they brought it on themselves, there's that moment where you got to just tap out, but they won't do it. So now here she is taking it to the next level of delusion. I mean, how I know that ain't photoshopped? Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and see how some other people respond before we get out of here.
Following today's charges against Hale, Missouri State Highway Patrol said their investigation continues. And once it's complete, it'll be submitted to the Jackson County prosecutor for a final review.
There you go, but not wait for those
store.
Here we go.
There was other children and families in the store.
Other children and families in the park.
Witness this. Our community is hurt. We are hurting. We are traumatized.
By what? And by who? Here she is yelling, mad for nothing in the bullhorn, talking about our kids walk here and they go there. Not mad at the black lady with the gun pointing. Who do you think have more control over their weapon? That young lady running away from the cops pointing as she's running looking backwards, or the police? Who do you think would more likely shoot someone by accident? The police or that young lady running away? And here she's talking about the community's hurting. Why is the community hurting? Is it because of the cops shooting a woman who was in a stolen car and had a gun running away? Or is it other factors of why the community's hurting? Why is it that Black Lives Matter only show up when someone gets shot, and they define the totality of our community hurting solely based on white cops killing black folks in the community that 99% of the time got themselves shot? But she doesn't mention our community's hurting from black on black crime. I mean, let's compare how many black folks was killed in that area by other black folks to those cops. And I'm sure there would be no comparison. I ain't even got to go look it up. Because see, if it was a whole bunch of them, we would be seeing her on TV every other day. See, so these are things that happen periodically, and because they're part of Black Lives Matter and they're supposed to just get mad for nothing anytime a black person's killed by a cop, they don't care about facts or details. This is our chance. We don't know when we're going to get another chance to be mad for nothing, and they're so far in between where black folks are just killed by cops. We got to capitalize on it, even if the details come out later and shows that that person got themselves shot. So maybe this chick right here with the fade should focus on stuff that's really hurting her community. Talking about we're hurting, we're traumatized. Not by the cops.
We are tired of feeling like our deaths don't matter, our pain don't matter, our tears don't matter, our struggles don't matter. They do.
And I'm sure she's not thinking about those police officers that had to make a snapshot judgment as a gun was being pointed at them. I'm pretty sure she's not thinking, well, those cops' lives don't matter, and their families who they're depending on don't matter. She wasn't thinking about that. I really wish that woman right there would take a look at some of the real issues in the black community and really direct her efforts towards that, talking about our lives don't matter. If these folks in that neighborhood is not being killed in droves by police officers and instead dying from all these other things, or simply being hindered in their progress through stinking thinking, bad school districts, all of those things by Democrats, then how about you focus on that? How about you use all of that to focus on the brothers and the sisters in the hood and show them how to develop some people skills and conflict resolution that will allow them to operate outside of the hood without overreacting if a cop says, excuse me, ma'am, sir, yes, officer, stood up. Man, why you get up out of me? You just escalated things when you do that. And then you got people out there like this coming out, our lives don't matter.
Many in support of the 26-year-old still found themselves backing her.
They're gunning down people who aren't threats down the street.
Until we were able to show them exactly what police and prosecutors say happened.
I see. How come the person yesterday said she didn't have a gun?
Well, exactly. See, that's what you get, brother. See, he at least sound intelligence. I see. Well, how come the person yesterday didn't tell us that she had a gun? Well, because they don't want you to know that. Just like they didn't tell you that Michael Brown got himself shot. And Black Lives Matter stemmed out of that incident. And all of those people on the news was talking about, we're with you, Michael Brown. Hands up, don't shoot. They don't tell you guys about a lot of this stuff. Just like they didn't tell you about Jacob Blake having that knife, which later on, what? He was on TV saying, yeah, I had a knife, shouldn't have had it. While everybody was running around tearing up the city. See, because if they would have told you that, then it wouldn't look like we got white nationalist cops killing folks for no reason, bruh. So hopefully this dude will get a red-pilled experience and realize that these people are manipulating them.
Claim that was never backed by evidence, and prosecutors say helped fuel false narratives around the case.
There you go.
However, they say this isn't enough.
If I want to see the body cam footage right now.
Hale remains in the hospital due to her wounds, and it is not clear when she will be released. The male suspect who ran away from police at the time Hale was getting out of the vehicle is in custody. Some say she was pregnant, something Fox 4 is still working to verify.
Well, without that verification, we're still waiting on that data. We don't know. That could be baby fat left over, or she could have been pregnant. But even if she was, where's your mother instinct? If you're pregnant, you definitely shouldn't just be running, pointing guns back at the cops. I mean, don't you even care about you and your baby's life? And then my question would be, why would Democrats get mad about that anyway? According to some of the people in Congress, babies aren't even alive until they're born. Yeah, that's how dumb Democrats are. You got to be born first to be alive. Therefore, anytime before you come out your parents, you aren't even alive. You can be killed twice. You're dead already, but we'll go ahead and kill you again. Okay, so that logic there don't make any sense, whether she's pregnant or not. So what, according to the Democrats, that's not a baby in there, it's just a clump of cells. So you see then the effect that this divide, this push to focus on racism and division in our country have created. It has created a group of people who are more interested in looking for ways to be a victim, point the finger, say the system sucks, instead of ways to create harmony and also progress and focus on things that are really going to help black folks in urban communities get out of those urban communities. However, I don't think that is the intent of the Democrat Party, to get them out of those urban communities, because people who get out of there have a tendency to look back and realize why they were in there in the first place. All you got to do is look at which cities are ran by who, and then start looking at some of these Democrat policies and seeing how they run to those microphones only when they can exploit some active racism and stuff. And you will conclude that I was there all that time because they wanted me there. Well, anyway, egg on face for Black Lives Matter. Like I said, y'all, oftentimes conservatives get accused of being Uncle Tom, sellouts, bootlickers. Y'all are supporting the white man. Y'all supporting the cops and this and that. We're supporting law and order and rationale and logic and having some type of common sense when these things happen, getting to the bottom of it. So if you're ever going to need to protest for something real, it's not undermined by you protesting for stuff that ain't real. If you're crying wolf all the time, nobody wants to come to your rescue. So how about you reserve your protests and anger for real things that happen so we don't look stupid as black folks. If something really went down that bad and that obvious, I would be the first, along with probably many other white, black, and other conservatives who believe in law and order and they can recognize injustice when it is. I'm sure they come out and join arms. But when you have become a part of a group, organization, or a mentality that has been brainwashed into believing, go find a problem even if it isn't one. And if it comes out that it's not a problem, still hang on to that narrative and make it a problem. I can't do that. I cannot support you being dumb by me being dumb with you. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner. God bless y'all. God bless America. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share my videos. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. And please check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, please click on the link below this video. Put Kevin in a promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. If you'd like to donate to Kevin's Corner, feel free. The links are below this video. If you want to be a part of my $2 a month club, also feel free to do that. All it entails is you simply dropping $2 a month into one of those links below the video. Or if you want, you can drop a nice big fat lump sum in there to offset the stuff that we know goes on with Big Tech. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Make sure that you are still subscribed. And finally, set your notification button to all, because YouTube is playing games, y'all. Now, God bless you. God bless America. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner.